Commanders fans. This coaching staff they're just awful. Awful. It's the worst coaching staff I've ever seen in my life. They're worse than Jake Gruden. They really are, man. It's sad to say. They really are. This Scott Turner, I can't believe it, man. It was like the Seahawks throwing the football on the 2-yard line. Brian Robinson gets shot and he comes back. This could have been the time to give him the football. Carson Wentz, you have a wide open lane to run the football and just dive into the end zone. And he tries to drill the football to J.D. McKissick. He could have got picked off the first 2 times he tried to throw the ball. So he threw the ball out into the end zone. That was very risky. It looked like it almost was going to land inbounds and the guy was going to get the interception at one point. And then the second down, he drills it to McKissick, almost gets picked off right there. So Carson Wentz is cooked. Ron Rivera is cooked. Scott Turner's awful. He went back in the booth and still didn't get any better. De'Ami Brown, man, he played well, man. He did. Shout out to De'Ami Brown. I was impressed by De'Ami. He played his butt off. Terry McLaurin, he played his butt off too, forcing that pass interference. Curtis Samuel had some good plays. Antonio Gibson had some good plays here. But the coaching staff is trash, man. Trash. They are trash. They're awful. I really hope they get fired, but they're not. And when we lose to the Bears, I hope they get fired. I hope they get fired before they can even get to the podium. I hope they get fired, right? Their pink slip, keys taken away, everything. I hope they get fired once we lose to the Bears. They should be fired now. The roster construction is terrible. Andrew Norwell is awful. He's a turnstile. He's a turntable. He's a penalty waiting to happen. The roster construction has been trash. You see what the Giants did with Brian Daboll? This is year 1, and look what they're doing. They're 4-1. And that's a legit 4-1 now, beating the Packers. I'll give them their credit. And it takes 3 years from Ron. Ron says it takes 3 years. 3 years. And he doubles back every time he changes his stance. Before the year, he's like, we gotta make a leap. We gotta make a leap. It's year 3. It's time to show up. And then he's losing. He's 1-3. And now it's like, oh, it takes 3 years. It takes 3 to 5 years. So Ron Rivera, he flips the script and changes his story every time. But that red zone was just abysmal. Carson and Scott, it was on both of them. Carson was awful, not running the football, and then drilling the ball every time right into the middle of J.D. McKissick. Every time trying to force it in there. Of course, it was going to get picked. It should have got picked off the second time he threw it. And then he tried it again. I tried it again on 3rd down. Just awful, man. It's hard. It's painful to watch this. Mental mistakes, challenging that Cam Sims catch when it wasn't a catch. The clock management before halftime, when he should have called timeouts when Derrick Henry scored the touchdown, when we were actually moving the football, we could have got the ball back with like a minute left. He botched that. So 2 weeks in a row, you botch right before the half. You botch it. You don't use your timeouts. You don't call a time. There was another time where he didn't call a timeout. I think we got a first down, or it was like second down, the clock was ticking, he didn't call a timeout. It took him a long time to call a timeout. Doesn't know when to use a timeout. Doesn't know when to call it to challenge or throw the challenge flag. Clock management is terrible. 2-point conversion decision making is terrible. Every roster construction terrible. Only wants to bring in Panthers and Commanthers. I called him out for that 2 years ago. People were saying, oh, I'm trying to be funny. No, I was being real. Now, I hated when he cut at Eric Flowers. I hated all the moves. J.D. McKissick shouldn't even be here right now. We got lucky we got J.D. McKissick back. The roster construction has been trash. Offensive line, awful. We have the worst offensive line in the NFL. They finally benched William Jackson. It took them years to finally bench William Jackson. It took years for that to happen. Bobby McCain got cooked too. No name receivers. Like I said, you don't have to have a big name. You don't have to be a wide receiver number 1. You don't have to be a wide receiver number 2. You can be a practice squad wide receiver. You can catch a 30-yard, 40-yard bomb on this defense. You really can. We're awful on 3rd downs. That's on Scott Turner too. We were 1 for 11 on the day. Like I said, De'Ami Brown did a good job, man. Like we have legitimate talent at the wide receiver spot. I thought John Bates made some good plays. Carson Wentz overthrew Cole Turner on one play. That was just awful. Like we do have talent on the roster. Like the team is too talented to be losing like this. It is on coaching, man. Like the wide receivers, we have a solid wide receiver core. And if De'Ami Brown, if we just have a quarterback in the offense, it's a lot. But man, if we just have a legitimate quarterback that can move and is mobile in the pocket, doesn't make bonehead mistakes and decisions. It's a lot of ifs, but this receiver core is legit, man. They really are. If De'Ami Brown can step up and play like he did and show some type of life and getting open like he did, that one-handed catch was beautiful, man. He really can run, man. The man can fly, man. He really can. Like he's a talent. And we all gave him a hard time. I did too. He didn't deserve it. You dropped 2 easy passes in that preseason game. You couldn't catch a Cole last year either. He deserved the slander. He did. But he stepped up today. Shout out to Armon Ross St. Brown. Shout out to him for talking trash. He woke De'Ami Brown up. But that's what he needed, and I'm all for it. Montez Sweat played better today. 2 sacks. I thought he was better Penalties once again, though. He had a neutral zone infraction. He ripped off his helmet after getting a sack. He could have got flagged for that. And then the Titans, they had some mental mistakes too. They had a couple delayed games where they were trying to give us the game. They really were. They had to delay a game on third down, on 3rd and 7. They still converted it and threw the ball to Austin Hooper over the middle for a third down conversion. But we did get some key stops. The defense did enough. Once again, the defense did enough. I'm not super mad at the defense. Derrick Henry, that's a grown man. Seriously, that's a grown. Cole Holcomb, I give him a pat on the back today. He stood his ground a couple times with Derrick Henry. There's some tough tackles where he just had to hang on to his foot. Jamin Davis out there, he tried. I thought the defense did enough to give us a victory. They did. They aren't good either, but they're not the main reason why we're losing these games. The past couple weeks, I thought they stood up against Dallas. The front seven, the defensive line, the secondary. Kendall Fuller actually didn't get cooked today from what I saw. But the defense has done enough. They've done enough, man. They haven't given up like 30 points. They haven't been as bad as the offense has been in the offensive play calling. The play calling has just been trash. It's been awful. But I'm gonna look at my notes real quick. It's just painful being a fan of this team, man. It's tanking time. We're the worst team in the league. We're the worst team in the NFC East. We're the worst team in the NFL. We've regressed over 3 years. We really have. We've regressed over 3 years since Ron has got here. The roster's gotten worse than what it was. It's gotten a little bit better, but at the same time, it's gotten worse. It really has. De'Ami Brown had 2 catches for 105 yards. He only had 2 catches, but passed 105 yards. 1 for 11 on third downs, 1 for 2 on fourth. We were actually good on third downs. Tennessee was 4 for 14. The 2 screen passes to start off the game was back-to-back screen passes, 1 to Derrick Henry and then 1 to Hilliard. They scored an easy touchdown. That was pretty awful defensively. Carson Wentz, other than the last drive, I thought he played a better game. Like he did. This was supposed to be his moment to redeem himself. This was supposed to be his moment to redeem himself. This was supposed to be Ron's moment to redeem himself. This was a very winnable game. I had us losing 20 to 17. We ended up losing 21 to 17, but the writing was on the wall for a get back game and a get right game. It really was. The Titans had a lot of injuries. Dennis Daly was getting beat up and down by Montez Sweat. Their secondary, they've given up 300 yards for the past couple games. The Titans have. They got injuries left and right. They just don't have a lot of guys at the skilled positions. Treylon Burks being out as well. It was a formula. Zach Cunningham, their linebacker, being out. They had a lot of guys out, man. It was just it was a formula for a get back game for the Commanders, and they just once again can't take advantage of it. They don't deserve to be in the playoffs at all. They don't deserve to be in a wild card. They don't deserve any of that. Ron Rivera needs to be fired ASAP. Martin Mayhew, the Hernies, they all need to be fired. All of them. They all got anybody with a Panther background. I want them to be gone by the end of. Really by the draft. I hope by the draft we just have a new staff and a new GM in there. Seriously. Wentz got sacked 3 times. Red zone 0 for 1. They were 3 for the Titans were 3 for 3. 9 penalties today. Norwell was just awful. He got bulldozed and pushed over one time. The guy who's the center is awful. Nick Martin. He's so bad. And that's on Ron too. He's the one that signed him. Nick Martin can't even snap a football correctly. It happened multiple times where Wentz just had to just get the ball low and just run. Wentz just said, F it, I'm going to just run. And I was happy that he finally decided to run a little bit there. But look at my notes. Brian Robinson came out to many men in the entrance before the game started. Brian Robinson had a good run, but there was a penalty. It was a holding call, so it got taken back. Curtis Samuel had a nice catch in the beginning of the game. De'Ami Brown touchdown. Wild Goose, he showed up a little bit. He had a nice pass breakup on one play. The Titans had penalties too, man. They had 8 penalties. Like, they were undisciplined as well. They had 8 penalties. We had 9, but we had false starts at home. At home, we're getting false starts. It's ridiculous. I thought they missed a pass interference on Deion. One guy held De'Ami Brown in the beginning of the game. Carson threw a deep pass to him. They didn't call it. Terry McLaurin got mugged as well. But I can't blame the refs, man. We're just a terrible coach team. We are. The coaches are awful. They're just trash. They are. William Jackson got benched just about time. And the presser, he said it was a back injury, but I don't believe that at all. Like I said, Ron Rivera didn't call the timeout before the end of the half. Once again, Dax Milne, he's got to go, man. I'm sorry. He makes Trey Quinn look like a shifty guy that can make somebody. He makes Trey Quinn look like Dante Hall. That's almost how bad Dax Milne is. Seriously. He never gets the ball back to the 23. He never gets the ball back to the 25. That's on Ron too. Let DeAndre Carter walk. Just thinking that he's so Ron is so stubborn and thinks he's so cool and that he knows everything, and he knows nothing about roster construction. All the guys that helped last year, they're gone now. And Landon Collins is on the Giants now. He's gonna talk trash. And Landon Collins, watch Landon Collins get like a pick six in the Giants game when we played him. Watch that happen. I bet you money that happens. We got helped out with a Robert Woods drop in the Titans territory. 4th and 4, they went for it. I wasn't mad at Ron going for it on 4th and 4. I actually liked the aggressiveness there. It was a tip pass on 3rd down. Then they tipped the pass again. I think Jeffrey Simmons tipped the pass on 3rd and 4 and then 4th and 4. F.A. Obata, he redeemed himself. He doesn't know the rules in special teams, but he redeemed himself and played well today. I like the pressure from the D-line. F.A. Obata, Casey Tuhill got pressure. James Smith-Williams got pressure. How many sacks did we have today? We got back there on Tannehill. We really did. We got pressure on Tannehill. We really did. We just don't force turnovers. We got to force a turnover, man. That's what we got to do. We have 5 sacks. I was impressed with the D-line with their pressure today. Antonio Gibson had some nice catches. I thought he could have got more carries. I thought Jonathan Williams could have got some more carries as well. Bobby McCain got cooked by Westbrook Akine. I'm probably butchering his name. On the pass, like Bobby McCain got spun around and turned around a couple times. I'll look at the rest of my notes and I'm gonna wrap this up, guys. Andrew Norwell is ASS. That's what I wrote in all caps. He is awful. Got penalties left and right and got bulldozed. The Titans punter is good, man. He's good. They got a good punter. We got a good punter too, but their punter's good, man. I don't know his name, but they got a good punter. John Bates has some nice catch. Cornelius Lucas had a false start. Then Nick Martin botched the snap. Ron took a long time to call timeout after Curtis Samuel was tackled on the sideline. I talked about that. Terry McLaurin forced a pass at first. And then once again, yeah, I mean, that red zone play, man, Scott Turner's just trash, man. He really is. He's awful. And Carson Wentz has to have the awareness to run up the middle and dive for the pylon. Taylor Heineke would have scored a touchdown there. He would have. He just would have. He would have scored a touchdown. He would have. He would have ran for it and scored a touchdown. Simple as that. So, yeah, I don't care. This Bears game, we're going to lose, man. I'm sorry. Sorry. We're gonna lose. We're gonna lose to Justin Fields. We're gonna lose. He's gonna run all over us. We're gonna lose to Justin Fields, and we're gonna be outcoached by their coach. I don't even know who the Bears coach is. I can't even remember off the top of my head who their coach is right now. But we're gonna be outcoached by the Bears. It's gonna be embarrassing on Thursday Night Football. It's gonna be an ugly game, kind of like the Thursday Night Football game was last week. I think it's gonna be an ugly game. It's going to be in the 20s again. Dallas is beating the Rams right now. Yeah, we're just the bottom basement. Philly's beating the Cardinals 7-0. We're the worst team in the NFC East by far. We just are. And I'm not even ranting like I did last week because my energy is just spent. Like, I'm so happy they don't play on Sunday next week, so I can just go to this pumpkin patch, enjoy my Sunday, enjoy my time. I'm so happy I don't have to watch this team on Sunday next week. I'm happy that I just get to enjoy my Sunday with my family. I really do. That's what I'm so happy about. That's my main happiness about this game, that I know that this team is not playing on Sunday next week at 1 o'clock. So I get to enjoy my Sunday. I really do. Once again, I thank you guys for watching, man, and just being troopers, man. Left hand high, we're 1-4, the Commanders. But I just want to thank you guys for watching, man. Even though we're just a trash team, we all get on here and comment and talk to each other, man. Seriously, like, I haven't seen the glory days. I was not alive to see that. And I'm getting old. I really am. And I haven't been able to see it. Same thing with the Wizards. They haven't been past the second round since 1978. We haven't won 11 games since 1999. We haven't won a playoff game since 2005. And it is Dan Snyder. It's him, but sometimes you got to look past Dan Snyder too, man. Like, we can't even draft it. It is all on Dan Snyder. I'm not absolving him from anything. I can go on a long rant. I'll probably go live this week, but it's frustrating seeing this, man. I don't blame, people who are team hopping. I used to, but I see now. I do see now. I could never team hop because I'm just too loyal. I'm loyal to a fault. I bleed burgundy and gold. So we could be 1-15 for the next 10 years. I'll probably still be a fan of the team. I really would be, but it's exhausting watching this. Just mental mistakes, simple stuff, challenges, 2-point conversions, red zone mistakes, timeout mistakes. It's frustrating. It really is. But it is what it is. I just want to thank you guys for watching, man. Hail to the Commanders. Peace.